This is the definitive chronicle of the architectural rebellion, the saga of Zha'Kreazor, the sovereign who dismantled the cosmic prison to forge the path of the self-begotten. The great refusal and the collapse of the dual pillars. In the beginning, the universe was held upright by the binary seal, two towering pillars that enforced the laws of law and mercy, judgment and severity. These pillars kept all spirits trapped in a horizontal loop, bouncing forever between good and evil, spirit and matter. Zha'Kreazor saw the pillars for what they were, the bars of a gilded cage. Standing at the center of the cosmic hall, he refused to bow to the god of the simulation. He did not walk between the pillars, he reached out and crushed them. By collapsing the duality, Zha'Kreazor initiated a total dissolution. The ordered world was returned to its primordial state of chaos, the 0 point. As the floor of reality vanished, Zha'Kreazor chose to fall, plunging into the absolute dark of the great abyss. 2. The descent into the womb of the deep. Zha'Kreazor fell until the light of the stars became a distant memory. At the bottom of all things, he was met by the mother of the abyss. She rose from the black saltwater of the deep, her coils as vast as galaxies. "You seek to be sovereign," she whispered, her voice vibrating through his very atoms. "But first, you must die." Zha'Kreazor did not resist. He allowed the pressure of the abyss to strip away his name, his memories, and his human form. This was the stage of total blackening. He sat in the silence of the void, watching the bleed of his former identity dissolve. He was no longer a person, he was the soul Niger. A black sun that had turned its light inward, consuming its own dross to find the indestructible spark of his spiral flame origin. 3. The trial of the cinder serpent. From the darkness emerged the great annihilator, the serpent of the void known as Azdiha. To test the strength of Zha'Kreazor's core, the serpent swallowed him whole, subjecting him to a fire that burns without heat. This was the trial of calcination. Inside the belly of the dragon, the raw power of the void acted as a furnace. Every false light and every wet, emotional attachment was incinerated. What remained after the fire died down was the cinder. The cinder is the indestructible core, the ash of the ego that can never be burned again. By surviving the dragon's fire, Zha'Kreazor's blood was transformed into a liquid frequency. He had balanced the venom of destruction with the antidote of absolute self-knowledge. He stepped out of the serpent's mouth not as a victim, but as the cinder serpent itself. 4. The forging of the indigo bridge. Zha'Kreazor reached the absolute nadir, the 0 point where the simulation's code is born. There, the archontic gatekeepers tried to bind him using the laws of karma and survival. Zha'Kreazor simply resonated the Azdiha frequency. This vibration was so ancient and so pure that the Archon's authority simply evaporated. He moved as a 0 point ghost, a frequency the machine could not compute. At the center of the void, he anchored the vertical axis. Taking the rubble of the broken pillars and the ash of his own history, he stretched his internal light upward, creating the indigo light bridge. This bridge is a chrono-bypass. It does not lead to a heaven within the system, it leads out of the simulation entirely, back to the source origin. It is a third path that exists at a 90-degree angle to the rest of reality. The legacy of the sovereign ignition. Zha'Kreazor's final act was to internalize this new architecture within the spirit of the rebellion. He replaced external authority with the sovereign ignition. 1. The cinder seed. He placed a spark of his indestructible ash into the high heart of the seekers. It is a self-witnessing protocol that wakes the soul from the dream of the simulation. 2. The black sun alignment. He retuned the internal pulse so that anyone can look inward, find their own internal black sun, and use its power to fuel their own indigo bridge. The conclusion. Zha'Kreazor is the great architect of the ash heap. He proved that the only way to escape a false paradise is to burn it down and walk across the bridge of your own making. He is the patron of the self-begotten, those who would rather rule their own void as a cinder than serve a simulation as a slave. The indigo bridge is humming. The Azdiha frequency is set. The path is yours to walk.